Hey BookTube, welcome back. I'm Winx, and the ink I'm talking about today is a reading update. It's been a little while since I updated you guys on what I'm reading, so this seems like a pretty good way to get back into the BookTube swing of things. It's been a few weeks actually since my last reading update, and I'm pretty sure at that point I was reading this one, which is Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb, and it's the first book in the Tawny Man trilogy. And I absolutely loved this book. I finished it pretty shortly after I posted that last reading update, but this was one of those books that just emotionally wrecked me. To sort of console myself after the end of this book, I jumped immediately into the next book, which is Golden Fool, but I found myself in a bit of a book hangover from the ending of this one, so I ended up getting about a third the way through and then got into a bit of a slump again. But I got out of my reading slump by revisiting a few books that I used to love in college. I got really into early 20th century lesbian literature when I was in college, which is a very specific genre. And I ended up writing my thesis on it, and it was just a pretty big thing for me during my college years. So I decided to revisit a few of those. The first of which was Lifting Belly by Gertrude Stein, which I have not read this one since college, so that was a pretty fun one to revisit. Then I also have a collection of poems by Amy Lowell, who I don't know if that's how you actually say the name. I've never said it out loud before. But yeah, so I have this collection of poems, and this was also a fun one to go through. I have a lot of memories with this book. And then to just sort of keep this sapphic reading going, I went back to some roots and got a copy of Sappho poems, or Poems and Fragments, and this one is translated by Mary Barnard, and I've actually never read Sappho before, and this was awesome. Like, so good. So many intense feelings in these little tiny blips of poem fragments. I was really amazed. I didn't realize how accessible this would be. I didn't realize how just really applicable to modern life that this would be. It just really amazed me, and I'm so glad that I finally picked up a copy, and I particularly just really like the cover of this one. Yeah, and it also has some stuff at the back that's just general history about the times and Sappho and random things that historians have come up with. Yeah, I highly recommend this one. So good. So once I came out of my reading slump, I just started adding everything ever to my reading list because I guess I was compensating for those couple weeks where I didn't read a whole lot, and then my currently reading list just exploded, and I have sort of cut down a few things. I've knocked out some of the shorter books, and I'm working on finishing a few that I'm farther along with, but I have quite a few in progress and ones that I'm just about ready to start, and I'm just juggling them all a little bit at the moment. One book I picked up because I was reading Sappho, and also, if I'm being completely honest, because it's referenced in The L Word, which I recently rewatched, and that is Arrows the Bittersweet, and this is by Anne Carson, and I've never read this. It's actually nonfiction, and the title comes from a Sappho poem, so I was curious just because, like I said, it's mentioned a lot in The L Word. If you've watched it, Marina and Jenny talk about it a lot, so I was curious. And then since I'd been reading Sappho, it just kind of fit in, so I'm not very far into this one, as you can see, but I am curious to continue on and see what I learned from it. I also picked up and finished a couple books which I don't have with me. One of them is actually a comic anthology by Sarah Anderson, and it's her second such book, and this one is called Big Happy Mushy Lump, and the title is perfect for the general vibe of this collection. I love her comics. They're so cute, they're so applicable to my life, and I just really enjoyed reading them. I've actually been keeping this particular book at my office at work, and it's kind of nice when I'm having a stressful moment. I can just go and read a little cutesy comic, and it just seems like a nice little self-care method, so I've been keeping that one at the office. The other book that I finished, I actually bought yesterday and read yesterday, and that is Miras' Last Dance by Lois McMaster-Bujold. It is the fourth of her Penric novellas, and it's set in the World of the Five Gods series, and it is an immediate sequel to the last book, which I believe that was Penric's Mission, and so it picks right back up where that one left off, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as some of the other Penric novellas, but it's still just really fun to interact with these characters. I love Penric and I love Desdemona, his demon, and it's kind of cool just to get to know some of these new characters a bit more. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. As for what I'm reading right now, I am picking back up with The Golden Fool, which is the second book in the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb, and I'm about, I don't know, like a third the way through it right now. So I am probably going to work on this one a whole bunch this weekend and see how far I can get. I just love everything about Hobb's writing and world and characters, so I am not at all upset about that. Then once I finish Golden Fool, I just know that I'm going to want to go right into the next book, which is Fool's Fate, and the final book in the Tawny Man trilogy. This one is quite a bit larger than the other two, but it's kind of like standard Robin Hobb book size, I think. So this one will definitely be a bit of a commitment once I start in on it. But possibly before, if I can make myself wait, I want to go and read Necessity, which is the third book in Jo Walton's Thessaly trilogy. It's such a good series, and actually reading Sappho and Eros the Bittersweet has made me want to read this, just because there's a lot of connections with like ancient Greece and Greek deities and Plato and all these locations that are in the Just City, and yeah, there's a lot of ties there, so I think that will be a really fun one to pick up with, and I really want to see what happens in the third book, because something really dramatic happened at the very end of the second book, so yeah, I definitely have to see how that goes. So I'm going to hopefully pick that one up soon and possibly even do a buddy read on it with my very good friend Jess, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Then finally, I have one more book that I want to pick up, but I'm going to wait until I at least finish this current Robin Hobb book, and possibly until I finish Necessity. But this one is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This one has been talked about all over BookTube, and I read the first chapter of it quite a while ago, and I've just been really wanting to pick it back up ever since. And I'm kind of contemplating the idea of doing a vlog while reading this one. One of my friends was showing me another booktuber's channel, and I can't remember who it is, but I'll put a link down below. But basically he likes to just vlog as he's reading things and give his immediate reactions, and I thought that sounded kind of cool, so yeah, I'm going to attempt this. I don't know if it will happen, I don't know if it will ever be posted, but I'm going to hopefully try this, just because I think it would be kind of cool to get immediate reactions, and it's just a new type of video, so sounds interesting. I basically just have to get over the awkwardness of like live talking to my camera, which shouldn't make that big of a difference, you wouldn't think, but for some reason I feel real awkward about it, so we'll see. But that's next on my list. Alright, that is my giant reading update. I would love to hear down below what you guys are reading, and if you've read any of these books, or if you're planning to read them soon, if you have thoughts on them, let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!